Once upon a time, in a cheerful village surrounded by tall trees and bright flowers, everyone was friendly. The villagers worked together, planting gardens and playing games. They loved to tell stories by the fire at night. The village was filled with laughter and joy. But there was a secret that kept the village safe. A great god lived in the mountains nearby. This god loved the villagers very much. When they were kind and respectful, the god made the sun shine and the rain fall just right. Everyone in the village knew they must honor this god. One sunny day, a curious little boy named Sam played by the river. He heard the older kids talking about the soldier ants. They are strong and brave, they said. They protect the god and the land. Sam wondered about these tiny warriors. What would happen if someone made the god angry? He felt a tingle of fear. Little did he know, something was about to happen that would change everything. One afternoon, the village elder gathered everyone in the town square. His face was serious. Listen carefully, he said, the god of our land is very powerful. We must always show respect. If we don't, the soldier ants will come to chase us. The villagers listened closely, but some giggled. It's just a story, they whispered to each other. But Sam didn't think it was funny. He remembered the tales of the soldier ants and how they wore shiny helmets. He imagined them marching through the village, ready to protect the god. As the elder continued, Sam's heart raced. If anyone offends the god, the soldier ants will pursue them. They will not stop until the wrongdoer learns their lesson. Sam thought about being careful. What if someone accidentally did something wrong? He promised himself to be extra respectful, but not everyone would remember the warning. One bright morning, a traveler wandered into the village. He didn't know about the god or the soldier ants. He saw a beautiful tree filled with ripe, juicy fruits. Yum, he thought, and picked a basket full of them without asking anyone. The tree shook with anger, and the leaves rustled. Sam watched in horror. He's made the god angry, he shouted, but it was too late. The villagers gasped. They remembered the elder's warning. The traveler didn't realize he was in trouble. He just wanted to eat. Suddenly, the ground trembled, and from the dark forest, the soldier ants emerged. They marched in straight lines, their helmets shining like stars. Sam felt a chill run down his spine. Would the traveler get chased? He held his breath, wishing he could help. The soldier ants marched closer to the traveler, their tiny legs moving in perfect unison. You have offended the god, they shouted in their little voices. The traveler turned around, confused and scared. I didn't mean to. I was just hungry, he cried. But the soldier ants did not listen. They were on a mission to protect their land. They surrounded the traveler, their tiny bodies moving with purpose. Sam watched in fear. Would the ants hurt the traveler? The villagers were frozen, not knowing what to do. Then, the leader of the soldier ants stepped forward. We are not here to harm you, he declared. But you must learn to respect the land and the god. You cannot take without asking. The traveler looked ashamed. I understand now. I promise to respect your land, he said, his voice shaking. The soldier ants listened to the traveler. They realized he didn't mean any harm. You have been given a second chance, the leader said. Remember this lesson, respect the land and the god, and you will be safe. The ants then turned and marched back into the forest. The villagers cheered, feeling relieved. Sam smiled as he saw the traveler promise to treat the land with care. From that day on, everyone in the village worked hard to be kind. They planted more trees, shared their food, and always remembered to ask before taking. Maya learned that respect is very important. It keeps everyone safe, even tiny soldier ants. The village lived happily ever after, always honoring the god and their little protectors. With the travelers' promise in their hearts, the villagers decided to celebrate their newfound respect for the land and the god. They planned a big feast where everyone could come together. Sam was excited. They would cook delicious meals, dance, and tell stories about how to honor the land and its protectors. As the sun began to set, the village square filled with happy voices and the smell of yummy food. People brought fruits, vegetables, and freshly baked bread to share. Sam helped his mother prepare a special dish with colorful fruits. "This will be our gift to the god," he said, his eyes sparkling with joy. Once the tables were filled, everyone gathered around. The elder stood up to speak. "Today, we celebrate our bond with the land and the God who watches over us," he said, smiling at the villagers. "Let us remember the lesson we learned, to always show respect and kindness." After the elder finished, the villagers cheered and began to eat. Sam felt proud. He thought about the soldier ants and how they protected their home. He wanted to be just like them, strong and brave. As the villagers enjoyed their feast, something amazing happened. From the edge of the forest, the soldier ants began to appear, marching in a grand parade. The villagers gasped with excitement. "Look! The soldier ants have come to celebrate with us," someone shouted. The soldier ants marched in perfect lines, their shiny helmets glinting in the fading light. They stopped in front of the villagers and raised their tiny antennae high, as if they were joining in the celebration. Sam's heart swelled with happiness. He waved at the ants, and they waved back. The villagers started to dance and sing, welcoming the soldier ants into their celebration. Sam and his friends clapped their hands and cheered. "Thank you for protecting our land," they shouted. The soldier ants stood proudly, their mission fulfilled. That night, the villagers and the soldier ants shared stories. The ants told tales of their adventures in the forest, and the villagers shared their dreams for the future. Sam listened closely, filled with wonder. He realized how important it was to learn from each other and work together. After the celebration, life in the village changed for the better. The villagers made a promise to themselves and to the god, they would always respect the land and its creatures. They planted more trees and flowers, creating a beautiful garden that the soldier ants loved. Sam felt proud to be part of this change. Every day, he helped care for the garden, learning about plants and animals. He even made a little ant trail where the soldier ants could march safely without fear. The village became a place where nature and people lived happily together. As time passed, the villagers noticed that their crops grew bigger and sweeter. The god smiled down on them, and the weather was always just right. The villagers knew that this was a reward for their kindness and respect. One day, as Sam was watering the garden, he saw the soldier ants marching proudly in their lines. He smiled and waved at them. "Thank you for watching over us," he called. The leader of the soldier ants paused, raised his antennae, and nodded in acknowledgement. Sam felt a warm glow inside. He knew they were all part of a big family. As the years went by, the villagers grew older, and new children were born. Sam, now a young man, became a storyteller. He loved to share the tale of the soldier ants and the lesson of respect. Every evening, children gathered around him, their eyes wide with wonder. "Always remember," Sam would say, "the soldier ants are our friends. They protect our land, just like we must protect each other and nature." The children listened eagerly, hanging on to every word. They promised to honor the god and the land, just like their parents had taught them. One day, a little girl named Lily asked, "Can we meet the soldier ants?" Sam smiled. "Of course. They love visitors." He took the children to the garden, where the soldier ants marched proudly. The little ones gasped in excitement and waved at the ants. "See how strong they are," Sam said. "They show us the power of working together." The children cheered, feeling inspired. They played and danced, creating new stories and adventures with the soldier ants, just like Sam had done. As the seasons changed, the bond between the villagers and the soldier ants grew stronger. They worked together to protect the land, planting trees and caring for animals. The village became known as a place of kindness and harmony, where everyone respected nature. One day, the village elder called for a special gathering. "Today, we honor our friends, the soldier ants," he announced. The villagers cheered, and the soldier ants marched proudly in their lines. Some stood tall, filled with pride. The elder spoke, "Let us always remember the lessons we have learned. Kindness, respect, and working together are the keys to our happiness." The villagers and the soldier ants celebrated together, knowing they were part of something truly special. From that day on, the story of the soldier ants was passed down through generations. The village flourished, and every child grew up knowing the importance of caring for the land and its protectors. They laughed, played, and learned together, forever cherishing the bond they had created. One day, the village faced a challenge. Dark clouds gathered over the mountains, and a terrible storm was brewing. The villagers worried about their crops and homes. Sam, now a wise elder, gathered everyone together in the town square. "We must be brave and work together to protect our village," he urged. As the winds howled and the rain began to pour, the villagers formed teams. Some built barriers around their gardens, while others gathered supplies to keep their homes safe. Sam remembered the soldier ants and their strength. "Let's ask our tiny friends for help," he suggested. The villagers nodded in agreement. They quickly made a plan. Sam and a few brave children ran to the edge of the forest to find the soldier ants. "We need your help," he called. "The storm is coming, and we must protect our home." The soldier ants, hearing the call, marched out of the forest. They were ready to assist. "We will help you," the leader declared. "Together, we can create a strong defense against the storm." With the soldier ants by their side, the villagers worked hard. The ants formed lines, creating tiny barriers to guide the rainwater away from the gardens. They dug small trenches and carried twigs to help strengthen the village's defenses. Sam watched in awe as the soldier ants worked tirelessly. Their tiny bodies moved in perfect harmony, just like the villagers. "Look at them go," he exclaimed. The children cheered for their tiny friends, inspired by their determination. As the storm raged on, the villagers felt a sense of hope. They knew they were not alone. Together, with the soldier ants, they built a protective wall around their gardens and homes. The wind howled, but the teamwork made them feel strong. After hours of hard work, the storm finally began to calm. The rain eased, and the clouds slowly drifted away. The villagers looked around, grateful to see that their homes were still standing strong. They cheered, celebrating their victory over the storm. Once the storm passed, the sun peeked through the clouds, casting a beautiful rainbow over the village. Sam and the villagers stepped outside to assess the damage. To their relief, most of the gardens were intact, thanks to the hard work of everyone, including the soldier ants. The villagers decided to hold a special gathering to thank the soldier ants for their bravery and help. Sam stood in front of everyone, a big smile on his face. "Let's honor our tiny heroes," he announced. The villagers clapped and cheered, and the soldier ants stood proudly. During the celebration, the villagers prepared a feast of fruits and vegetables. They placed a special bowl of food right in the center for the soldier ants. "This is for you, our friends. Thank you for helping us protect our home," Sam declared. The soldier ants were delighted. They marched in lines to the food, enjoying the tasty treats. The villagers laughed and shared stories about the storm and how they worked together. That day, their bond grew even stronger. As time went on, the villagers and soldier ants continued to thrive together. The storm became a tale they shared with the younger generations. Sam told the children, "When we work together, no challenge is too big." The village prospered, and the bond with the soldier ants became legendary. People from neighboring villages visited to learn about their teamwork. The villagers proudly shared their stories of respect, kindness, and the tiny protectors of the land. One day, a group of children asked Sam, "What if we face another storm?" He smiled and replied, "If we remember the lesson of unity, we will always be ready. We will stand together, just like we did before." Inspired by Sam's words, the children began creating their own projects to prepare for any challenges ahead. They made little signs around the village to remind everyone of the importance of respect and teamwork. "Together, we can do anything," they wrote. Years later, the village flourished like never before. The gardens bloomed with bright colors, and the laughter of children filled the air. The story of the soldier ants and their adventures was told and retold, creating a beautiful legacy. One sunny afternoon, Sam, now an old man, sat on a bench in the village square surrounded by children. They eagerly gathered around him, ready for another story. "Tell us about the soldier ants," they begged. With a twinkle in his eye, Sam began. "Once upon a time, in a village not so different from ours, there were brave little soldier ants who taught us the true meaning of respect and teamwork." As he spoke, the children listened with wide eyes, imagining the tiny warriors marching to protect their home. They felt inspired to carry on the lessons learned from the soldier ants. And so, the spirit of kindness and unity continued to live on, growing stronger with each passing generation. The village remained a place where nature and people thrived together, proving that even the smallest creatures could leave a big mark on the world. One bright morning, the village faced a new challenge. News spread that a group of hungry animals from the nearby forest was coming to look for food. The villagers grew worried. "What if they eat all our crops?" they whispered. Sam, hearing their concerns, knew it was time to act. He gathered everyone in the village square. "We must find a way to protect our gardens while also helping the animals. They are part of our land too," he said. The villagers nodded, realizing that the animals needed food just as much as they did. Sam had an idea. "Let's create a special feeding area in the forest. We can share some of our food so the animals won't destroy our gardens." The villagers loved this plan and quickly set to work. They gathered fruits and vegetables that were extra and not too ripe. Excitement filled the air as they prepared a beautiful spot in the forest, away from their gardens. "We'll make sure the animals know they are welcome here," Sam said, smiling at the children helping him. After a few hours of hard work, the villagers created a lovely feeding area. They set up a small table with baskets filled with food. Bright colors from the fruits and vegetables made it look inviting. Sam decorated it with flowers and leaves from the forest, making it a beautiful spot. That evening, the villagers stood back and admired their work. "Now we just have to wait," Sam said. The children were excited and couldn't wait to see what animals would come to visit. The next morning, they woke up early and hurried to the feeding area. As they arrived, their eyes widened in amazement. A family of deer, a couple of rabbits, and even some colorful birds had found their way to the food. The animals looked happy and grateful as they nibbled on the offerings. The villagers watched in delight, knowing they had made the right choice. "Look how peaceful they are," one child exclaimed. Sam smiled, feeling proud of his village for sharing with the creatures of the forest. As days went by, the villagers continued to help the animals. Every week, they filled the feeding area with fresh food. More and more animals visited, creating a beautiful harmony between the village and the forest. One day, a group of curious children approached Sam. "Can we invite the animals to our village for a special day?" they asked eagerly. Sam thought for a moment and then smiled. "What a wonderful idea. Let's have a festival to celebrate our friendship with the animals." Excitedly, the children and villagers began to plan. They decided to hold a festival in the village square, where they would invite the animals to join them for games, music, and delicious food. They prepared colorful decorations and made special treats for their new friends. When the festival day arrived, the village square was filled with laughter and joy. Villagers wore bright clothes, and the air was filled with the sweet smell of baked goods. As the sun began to set, Sam stood on a small stage, welcoming everyone to the festival. As the festival began, villagers danced, sang, and played games. They set up fun activities like tug-of-war, races, and even a storytelling corner. The children giggled with excitement, hoping to see the animals join the fun. Soon, the animals began to arrive, cautiously at first. Sam waved to the deer and rabbits, and the villagers cheered. "Welcome, friends," he called. The animals seemed to understand and slowly joined in the festivities. The children played games with the rabbits, while the deer stood quietly, watching with gentle eyes. The birds chirped along with the music, adding a sweet melody to the celebrations. Sam felt a warm joy in his heart. This was a beautiful moment of unity. As the sun began to set, everyone gathered around for a special feast. The villagers had prepared a huge spread of food, and they invited the animals to share in the bounty. "This is a celebration of friendship," Sam announced. "Let's eat together." The festival was a great success. Everyone, from the villagers to the animals, enjoyed the day filled with fun and laughter. As the stars twinkled in the night sky, Sam looked around at the smiling faces of both children and animals. He realized that this day was just the beginning of a wonderful friendship. From that day on, the villagers and the animals continued to celebrate together. They held festivals every season, sharing food, games, and stories. The bond between them grew stronger, creating a community where nature and people lived in harmony. As the years went by, Sam shared these stories with the next generation, teaching them about respect for all living creatures. The children learned the importance of kindness and sharing, carrying on the legacy of their village. In the heart of the village, the feeding area remained a symbol of their friendship. The soldier ants continued to protect the land, the villagers cared for their crops, and the animals flourished in the forest. Together, they created a beautiful world where everyone thrived. I trust you enjoyed this video. Please like and share your thoughts in the comment section, give a thumbs up, and subscribe to this channel for more alluring stories like this one. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for the next video.